Joining us this morning on Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank, is a certified financial planner and the CEO and founder of Fluent Financial, Mitch Kramer. And Mitch, it is good to have you back on our show.
Glad to be with you, Josh.
All right, so obviously gas prices are going higher and higher and higher, and we know that with the holiday weekend coming up, they're still going to spike even higher. So have you seen or heard of any reports around that people have been changing their driving habits, maybe whether it comes to vacations or just their daily driving habits?
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. What we see happening is most Americans have two cars, and the car that gets better gas mileage is the one that's being used most often. And where people are going on trips, they're going to be taking the sedan versus the fuel-guzzling SUV. Also, we're here in the Dallas area. You're seeing a little less traffic on the toll roads, so people aren't paying the tolls on top of very high gas and diesel prices.
So we're seeing a lot of people going off of those toll roads. So maybe we might be seeing that in Pennsylvania as well with the turnpike.
Absolutely.
Talk about some of the things that people have been keeping in mind. I mean, we're seeing gas prices up here in Indiana, Pennsylvania, around $4.70 a gallon on average. And I think Pennsylvania has one of the higher gas price averages in the country, but not the highest. I think we're kind of in the middle.
Yeah, I just talked to some people in San Diego, and they're looking at close to $7 a gallon for regular gas out there. So it's much worse. And gas prices, unfortunately, are going to continue to go higher because this administration has declared war on the oil and gas industry.
Okay, so what can be done to maybe get that price down? Obviously, you're thinking that with the administration declaring war on the oil and gas industry, would the stuff with Ukraine have anything to do with it? Because I think that's when we really started to see the significant jumps.
Yes, we had higher inflation as soon as Biden took office, if you look at the historic numbers. But part of the problem is we take a lot of Russia's oil offline, and people still have the same demand. They're having to get it from other places, so that has increased the price of oil worldwide. The best thing that could happen is that this war will end, and then some of the Russian oil can hit the market. That would bring prices down. Domestically, if Biden would, I know it'd be painful for him to do this, and the Progressive Party will not allow him to do this, but roll back and go back to some of the Trump economic energy policies, and it won't happen overnight, but in a few months, you'll start to see the prices really come down at the pumps.
Do you think also that there may be some price gouging going on?
I'm sure there is, but as high as oil has been, I think that's going to be very hard to prove. The 7-Eleven and convenience type stores, their margins on oil and diesel fuel is so minimal. It's what they sell inside the stores where they make money. So I don't see that happening.
Okay. Because that's actually a lot of Indiana County's gas stations there. It's like gas station, convenience store, all rolled into one. So, yeah, okay, that's understandable then. We're talking once again this morning with Mitch Kramer, the certified financial planner, CEO and founder of Fluent Financial. So, Mitch, talk about how this has actually impacted your business. I mean, have you noticed your employees, maybe they're doing like a lot of errands after work or trying to get things done on one trip before they come into the office?
Yeah, I think what you see happening is they're grouping together their trips, and they're not going out multiple times. We have one of our employees works at home full time. We have a couple others that work at home part of the time. So working at home, I think, is a very common tactic that employers can offer their employees, and helps them save on gas and toll road costs as well as time. I think that we learned a lot of that during COVID, that we can have a lot of people work at home and still be productive.
Do you think a lot of Americans are putting off big purchases because of the fact that the gas prices are kind of out of control and possibly prices of other things could continue to go up and up and up?
Yeah, Josh, absolutely. And I think something to add to that is Walmart and Target took big dips last week because you're seeing this inventory build, and people are asking themselves the questions when they go shopping: is this something I need to have or want to have? And the former categories is winning out because people have to pay for food and groceries to take care of their families. So a lot of your bigger purchase items are going to be postponed. I mean, car prices are very high, inventories aren't great, and we're advising our clients just kind of hold off on those bigger purchases because prices may come down and be better inventory in another 6 months.
President Joe Biden is saying that we're not quite at a recession yet, but are we headed towards that direction?
I think we're going to get very close, Josh. I don't anticipate a recession in the second quarter. We don't have a lot of margin for error. But if we do have a recession, it's going to be very short and very mild because the U.S. consumer, albeit is having a real tough time right now, their balance sheet is in the best shape it's been in decades. Mm-hmm. And we have a full employment economy. People are getting raises, so that's helping offset it. We're not going to have the 1970s stagflation with high inflation, high unemployment, because there's 2 job openings for every person looking for a job.
Right. So we're probably not going to get to the point where we saw in the 70s. We saw people going through long lines at the gas pumps or anything like that. It's just people are just going to be a little bit wiser, I think, to what's going on with how they do things.
Yes. And I think one thing that's really important to point out is that a lot of people are just putting in a little bit of gas or diesel. I would recommend that people do that strategy and use a half tank as empty, because if you run your gas tank down too far, you could damage your fuel pumps and fuel injectors and other components. That's a very expensive fix.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to fully fill up, treat half tank as empty.
All right. That's actually some good advice there. Well, thank you very much once again for joining us this morning on Indiana in the Morning. I hope things continue to go well for you down in Texas. And thanks again for being a part of the show.
Glad to be with you, Josh.